Hi, I'm Bob Parana. For 5 years, I had the pleasure of calling high school games on WLMI with the legendary and one and only Mr. Barry Morgan. You know, it was just looking back at those days, it was just, man, it was something special, and I miss you every day, Barry. This Duper's Place radio replay is the 1992 District 10 semifinal between the Eisenhower Knights and the Cochranton Cardinals. It was a game played on the frozen tundra at Corey High School on a Friday night. While I'll forewarn you, there is a chunk of the second half missing. I feel you're going to find the banter and wisdom of Barry and that of our special guest kind of entertaining. So sit back, relax, and go back in time and enjoy the WLMI Morgana Network replay, the 1992 District 10 semifinals between Conrad Danielson's Knights and the Cardinals.
It's the game of the week that's coming your way. It's Monday Night Football, and it's time to play.
This is a WLMI Morgana Network Sports presentation.
Last year's District 10 Class A semifinal game with Cambridge Springs, Steve Whitty booted the Eisenhower Knights into the championship contest.
Yep, because they'll have to spot it right about the 20. It's going to be at the 20. It's a 30-yard field goal for Steve Whitty. 40 seconds to go. It's 4th and 6. The snap, the play, the kick. It is... Go!
That kick sent Ike into the championship tilt against Iroquois. On a rainy night in Harbor Creek, the Knights were denied the coveted title in double overtime.
And folks, it's all coming down to this one play right here. Folks. One play in the District 10 championship. Less than a yard to go for the District 10 championship. 4th down. The Iroquois Braves. Full house backfield. He gives it to Oswald. He's in! Iroquois will win the District 10 championship.
Tonight on Your Choice for Sports, the Knights start their quest for the Grail, the District 10 title, and a shot at the state playoffs. Was there a lesson learned last year? Eisenhower head coach Conrad Danielson.
Well, I don't think it's overrated. It probably doesn't affect the kids as much as it does the coaching staff. I'll readily admit there's a couple things that took me off guard. There's a couple decisions I made that I wish I had to do over, and there's always a couple things that you can learn and pick up from year to year, and then you can be prepared for it the next time you're there. So I'd have to say that's a big advantage having been there before.
It's the 8-1 Eisenhower Knights against the 7-2 Cochranton Cardinals. The winner earns a spot in the District 10 championship next week.
WLMI is proud and pleased to present District 10 playoff action on Your Choice for Sports. It's Conrad Danielson's Eisenhower Knights against the Cochranton Cardinals, live from Corey High School. Tonight's semifinal game is being brought to you in part by Cafero's Custom Butchering, Roland's Automotive, Grant Lumber, Warren Midtown Motors, and the Eisenhower Football Boosters. It's the Knights and the Cardinals on Your Choice for Sports. Brought to you in part by Dr. Gary Smith, CW Hardware, The Jock Shop, and Betts Industries. And now, let's go live to Corey High School with Bob Parana and Barry Morgan.
And a very good evening to you, everybody. Welcome to the Tundra tonight, Mr. Barry Morgan, Corey High School, and I'm thrilled to death to be here. This is just going to be a whale of a game. Listening to those play-by-play from last year certainly has to get the blood flowing, and I'm sure down there on the field, there's no question about that tonight.
And it's got to be big for Capero, too, because last year he was hurt towards the end of the season. But Whitty, just amazing in the playoffs. Last year, I'll tell you what, it's freezing up there. They're looking for a temperature down in the mid-teens by the end of the game. So, you know, you hate to sound like you're being repetitive, but this is a heck of a big game, and mistakes are going to kill you, and it's cold. So, you know, the one good thing is Eisenhower's on defense first. I think that's good for them because I think if Conrad had his choice, that's where he'd want to be. Cochranton wins the choice, so we're looking forward to it.
All right, you got to fight each other in the elements tonight, and I'll tell you what, earlier today I talked with the head coach of the Eisenhower Knights. Always a sheer pleasure to talk to Conrad Danielson. He tells you like it is, and let's go to that interview. We'll go back to Eddie in Studio B and the head coach of the Eisenhower Knights, Conrad Danielson.
We head into tonight's semifinal game. Conrad, can you tell me how the kids are? Are you healthy going into tonight's ball game?
Yeah, we're healthy. We seem to be in pretty good spirits. We had a good week of practice, I thought, considering the cold weather. Even not considering the cold weather, we had a good week of practice. So I'm pretty satisfied going into this game.
Is that a concern for you tonight, Conrad, the cold temperatures? I don't think we're expecting to get snow, but are you making any special preparations for the cold weather?
Well, not really, no, because there's just not a whole lot you can do about it. You just have to try to keep your hands warm so that they're a lot more flexible and pliable and have a lot more feeling in them so you don't let go of the ball quite as easy and you're more aware of where things are at.
Mm-hmm. I know Cochranton, they're kind of a power football team. What can you tell me about the Cardinals that you guys have been able to pick up through your scouting?
Well, they're pretty big across the front, and you're exactly right. That's exactly what they want to do is power, power, power. And obviously they're pretty good at it, or they wouldn't have the record they have, and their 2 losses were by 2 and 3 points. So, you know, that's a real concern. We're going to find out just who's better, their front 5 or our front 5.
Mm-hmm. You look at that, and basically the line play is going to have to be a key, I would imagine.
That's where it's at in my mind. I don't see them as a finesse team. I don't think they try a lot of tricky stuff either. At least I haven't seen it in films I've been able to acquire. They're just going to come right at you with a variety of different formations, on-balance lines. A lot of guys on one side, nobody on the other. And that's their trickery there.
Mm-hmm.
And you better be able to adjust to it, or else they're going to find that weak spot that you're not covered.
I know you guys do a super job offensively. I mean, you can throw 5, 6 looks at them, at people. How about their defensive play? Do you think you can keep them off balance tonight?
Well, they played pretty standard defense, 5-2. I don't see them changing. They may, but I'm sure they've seen different formations through the course of the year. The 5's pretty flexible. You can adjust to about anything because you got 4 secondary people. You can always roll up as a linebacker. So I wouldn't see them changing anything else. They might slant to our power. They might try some crisscross type stunts that are always difficult to handle. But I don't see anything other than what we've seen already.
Now, I know that, you guys have done some work with the wishbone and different things like that. Are you going to stick with basically what you do, or can folks expect to see some different things from you guys? Have you thrown any new waggles in?
Well, I've never been one to sit around week to week and do the same thing over. I don't know. I just can't convince myself to do that. I think, to me, it's very boring. I think it's got to be boring to the kids, and I know some coaches believe in it, and some coaches are very successful doing that. So, yeah, we've changed a couple things. We're real concerned about one ball player they have, so we've changed our blocking scheme somewhat to try to get some help with him. And, we throw in a formation here and there.
Mm-hmm. What's a coach's outlook on a game like this when you're really playing a team and they're in the same position where you really don't see each other, except for some scouting? Does that make it harder, easier, or how do you approach it? I guess you just go with what brought you. But as you looked at them in the playoffs, what are your thoughts on the District 10 playoffs?
Well, even when teams you can play, you can't rely a whole lot on comparable scores, but it's certainly puts you in the ballpark anyway. And now you're going up to another team. In the league, basically, it plays a different style than ours does, and I don't, it's an awkward situation to be in. You don't have any idea what their strengths and weaknesses are as far as personnel, and that's a big problem. But likewise with us, they have no idea where we're at either.
Mm-hmm. I know last year against Cambridge Springs, you were down 14-0, and I don't know what you told the guys at halftime, but you certainly turned things around and really played a marvelous game to win that one. And then the tough loss to Iroquois. Can you tell me a little bit about what last year may do for you this year, or is that overrated sometimes?
Well, I don't think it's overrated. It probably doesn't affect the kids as much as it does the coaching staff. I'll readily admit a couple of things that took me off guard. There's a couple of decisions I made that I would have had to do over, and there's always a couple of things that you can learn and pick up from year to year, and then you can be prepared for it the next time you're there. Mm-hmm. So I'd have to say that's a big advantage having been there before.
Mm-hmm. And I know it had to be a bit of a disappointment to not go into the AML championship game, but you do have this to search for, the District 10 championship, perhaps a shot against the District 9 team. Have you been able to focus your kids pretty much on this mission that's ahead of you?
Well, yeah, I don't think that's a problem at all. You have to be pretty stupid to realize or to think that you're going to get to play somebody before you got somebody already in your way. Mm-hmm. You got to get by. So that hasn't been a problem that I can see.
Mm-hmm. As you look at the game itself tonight, what do you look for? What are you going to have to do to get out and really get out of the blocks here for them? What is going to be the key as far as you see it?
I think field position will be a big factor. Mm-hmm. Probably will determine the outcome of the game. Mm-hmm. That and turnovers. We can't allow them to do what they want to do. It's as simple as that. Control the ball for 5-6 minute drives. Even if we do get them stopped, maybe we'll be way in the hole. We can't afford to come out of the hole all the time, and neither can they. No team can. Sooner or later, it's going to jump up and bite you. So that's the big thing. We're going to play field position ball with them, and I know that's what's in their mind too.
Mm-hmm. And if you can, Conrad, I know it's nice to have the other folks from the league and stuff on your side. And that, what's your thoughts on the Knights representing, District 10 up there? And you know that Kevin and Carl and some of the other folks are pulling for you. That has to be a good feeling for you and your team.
Well, it really is. It's nice to have a certain amount of camaraderie within the league rather than people being jealous of you or envying you and wishing against you. Anytime somebody that, is rooting for you certainly helps your ego, it helps the team's ego, the school's ego, and all the way down the line. And, that's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm. I'm certainly looking forward to the ball game tonight. Wish you and the Knights the best of luck, and hopefully looking forward to talking to you after the game, Conrad.
Well, I appreciate it. Take care.
The head coach of the Eisenhower Knights, Mr. Conrad Danielson, and Barry Morgan, they've been here last year, and I thought it was quite interesting that Conrad says maybe they learned a little bit from last year. Maybe some of the things, although you look at some of the things, and I don't really think anybody could second guess some of the things. Don't know what he's gearing at, but obviously something, and he's going to make adjustments on that.
Oh, he will. I think the neat thing was last year they come down against Cambridge Springs, and they got behind quickly. And I think you got to give him a lot of credit because at the half he made some adjustments. They come back and win that game, and that was a huge one because that made the next step a little bit easier. I think that game probably more than any really set the tone for him. Those kids are pretty comfortable with it now. Last year, the first half against Cambridge Springs, they looked a little tentative, but I don't think you'll see that tonight. I think you'll see them come out here and play rock'em sock'em football.
It's going to be a war out there on the field now. We've had some people coach Cambridge, or back on that last year. We've had some people coach or scout Cochranton for us a little bit. Now I want to just run some facts here about them defensively before we get. Well, let's go offensively, Mr. Morgan, and of course their big guy is their running back, Kevin Bruno.
Yeah, he's tough. He's carried the ball 176 times for 1,002 yards. That's about 5.69 yards per carry. Scored 19 touchdowns, 17 rushing, one on a block punt, and one on a fumble recovery. He scored 5 TDs and had 146 yards in the final game with Maplewood. And Maplewood, by the way, is no patsy. They were probably the favorite team, Double-A, at the beginning of the year. They bumped up. So that's a heck of a thing to do. And he's also just a super defensive player.
And he's also back for this kick along with number 17, Jeremy Whitling. And Steve Whitty will kick off. It is showtime from Corey High School. The Knights and the Cardinals on your choice for sports. And it's going to be Paul Drazina that's going to handle things down around the 15. Drazina will get up to the 23-yard line, and he is brought down by Eisenhower's number 8. That is Jason Rhodes. So the Cochranton Cardinals will put it in play, 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. And, of course, the Knights, we've had them. They go across the front, and we're about set for this first play. A little bit hectic here. Bruno in there. He's number 32, also in that backfield. They've got a couple good ones. And another guy to watch, Kevin Camp.
Yep, and they're starting at their 28, so not a bad spot for them there.
Rosina on first down. They will go to Bruno, and he will get nothing. Steve Whitty in on the tackle, and also in on the tackle for the Eisenhower Knights is Jason Hagg. Conrad Danielson has a tough defense, and he likes to call he likes to think that Hagberg and Chris Black are probably two of the best he's ever had, and they are tackles. Calls them the best he's seen. His ends Roy Silvis and Hagg, and it is 2nd down now and 9. Give Bruno a yard on that first play. And they go to Bruno again, running left, and he'll get up to the 31-yard line. Pickup of 1. Kiefer in on the tackle, and also Cafaro and Kiefer.
You know, Cochranton not cute. I had to scout them years ago, like 10 years ago, for Sheffield in basketball, and they've always been real physical. Everything they do is real physical. They're a tough breed of kid down there. And their record, 7-2.
And their 2 losses vary, one of them by 3 points, one by 2 points, and it is 3rd down, and the Knights want a timeout. Yep. Timeout on the field, 10:24 to go, and no score, and we'll be back in 30. Back on the field, ready for action. Conrad actually will exit the field. We're going to have trouble with the cowbells and the crowd mic.
But that sounds good. You like that.
Yes, it does. It's 3rd down for the Cochranton Cardinals, and they're going to have a split end out there this time, that being Matt Bernarding. And they don't throw the ball a lot, do the Cardinals, but we may see them forced to throw.
Yeah, I know Conrad would like to see that, but they pitch back.
Oh, nothing doing. And a loss on the play. Kiefer again there.
Kiefer and Cafaro, what a hit.
I'll tell you what, Kevin Camp knows that he is in this ball game as he was just drilled back to the 31-yard line. It'll be 4th down, and the Knights will go back for the punt, and a dangerous one back there. That, of course, Steve Whitty, the senior that has scored a ton of points this year. Mr. Steve Whitty on the year, a school record, 154 points. And the kick.
Standing at his 50, drifts back, takes the ball about to 35 and fumbles.
And now from the 29, Whitty will get his way up to the 35, 36-yard line, where the Knights will put it in play, 1st and 10. And so the Eisenhower Knights offensively, of course, Cafaro, your quarterback, Rob Cafaro. You have Whitty, Chris Black, and also in the backfield for the Eisenhower Knights is a good one in, as I'm looking out on the field here, Gary Kiefer. And Alexander will go wide left now for the Knights. So it'll give you a lot of different looks tonight. And on first down, they go to Black, and nothing doing there. As a batch of Cardinals led by the big man, number 78. And number 78 for the Cardinals, a top defensive player. And the gentleman's name, can you tell I've got a screwed up sheet here, folks, for the Cochranton Cardinals. We're going to call the name Dave Miller quite a bit tonight.
Yep, 2nd and 9 now.
Jason Miller, a linebacker, also will throw some things at you. It is 2nd and 9. And Cafaro will keep it. And Cafaro has some running room and close to a first down. Might have it up over the 46.
Looks like they gave it to him.
In on the tackle was Drazina, and it is a first down for the Knights. Tell you what, Cafaro has really been able to run that play a lot, and I'll tell you what happens when you got a guy like Whitty, Mr. Morgan. It just makes it much more dangerous.
You must honor him, and that'll string the defense out the further they go towards the sideline. Robbie, look, cut it up. Good head on the kid. First down.
First down now from the 47, their own 47. And on first down, they will go to Whitty, and Whitty will get his way into Cardinal territory to about the 49-yard line. And in on the tackle for the Cardinals, Don Harvey. And it will bring up a second down, and let's call it a long 7 for the Eisenhower Knights. Many weapons do the Knights have, Mr. Morgan?
Yeah, they do, and I think you might see a couple that you haven't heard of this year. Not that much. Jason Hack, a good kid. I look for him to maybe play a real big part in this game if he can get his hands on the ball.
And on second down and 7, Cafaro will keep it again, look to cut it in, and Cafaro will pick up a couple on his own effort up to about the 47 of Cochranton. And he's buried down there. Miller comes off the pile for the Cardinals. The linebacker, now bringing the play into the ball game, is Matt Alexander. You'll see Matt Alexander and Mark Whitty bring the plays in and out for the most part for the Eisenhower Knights. It's 3rd and 6 for Eisenhower. And again, we'll keep track of those third down conversions for you again. And on 3rd and 6, in motion is Chris Black. There's snow on the field. Whitty running to his left, looking for running room. He'll try to cut it in. He's knocked out of bounds down around the 46, maybe a yard gain. And making the tackle over there was Drazina, who knocked him out of bounds, and it's going to bring up a 4th down now for the Knights. 6:40 to go here in the first period. No score. First possession for Eisenhower. They held the Cardinals in check on their first possession. And I do believe Eisenhower will punt here. And Cafaro will go back to do the kicking. He stands about his own 42-yard line. Drazina back deep for the Cardinals. Cardinals in their white jerseys, black pants, red and white trim, red helmets. And Eisenhower in their home blues. High kick, fair catch called for, and it'll be down at the 16-yard line where the Cardinals will put it in play. No score. We'll be back after this. And back here at Quarry, some movement, and I believe it is going to be on the Cardinals. That's going to take it back to the 11-yard line. Well, let's actually call it the 18. Let's call it the 13. As our first penalty of the game, Barry Morgan.
Yep, and a big break for the Knights. Now, we saw this happen last week somewhat similar to Smethport. Now, Eisenhower has them back in a hole. They must keep them here right now. If they do, they'll get real decent field position.
And Conrad Danielson, of course, said that will be a big key tonight, field position in this game. The Cardinals on 1st and 15. Drazina will keep the football. Another flag comes in there. Drazina will be thrown out of bounds at the 15-yard line by Whitty, Mark Whitty. But a flag in there again at the line of scrimmage. And we'll see what the call is this time. Glad to have you with us tonight, this District 10 semifinal game. The winner goes on to play the winner of Iroquois and Lionsville. Iroquois, the number 1 ranked Class A team in the state of Pennsylvania, Barry Morgan.
Yeah, they are. But I'll tell you, they're a big penalty clipping against Cochranton. That's going to move the ball about halfway back now. Inside, let's see, they're inside the 15, I would say, before they step it off. They were at the 11 to start with. Probably go half the distance, so that would be down to about the 6.5.
So we'll check the mark here. Of course, he didn't pick up much on the play. They're going to take the penalty, though, as I see Mr. Whitty and the rest of the Knights pointing that way. And they are going to walk it off. And that football is going to be placed down at the 5, at the 6, right about the 7-yard line, where it's going to bring up first down. And, well, it's about first, and what are you going to call it, 21?
Yeah, you almost have to.
First and 21. A couple wideouts now for the Cardinals.
The original line of scrimmage was the 16. Back to the 7 now.
Scott Baker and Matt Bernarding over on the left side. They give it to Bruno, and Bruno will be brought down at the 16-yard line. Kuiper in on the tackle, also Alexander, and also Capero in the secondary. That's the one thing about the Eisenhower Knights. They are a physical team, including those defensive backs, and they'll give you a pop.
That was a big play by Bruno. He got outside and rumbled for 10 yards there. Now, that's the kind of thing you don't want to happen when you have them back in a hole like that. So now it's 2nd and 10.
And they'll go to the other side with the split ends, those being Baker and Bernarding. Drazina will pitch it back to Bruno. Bruno running to his left, and he's going to be brought down back at the 15.
Kuiper and Capero.
Kuiper and Capero again. Kuiper playing like a man possessed right now for the Eisenhower Knights defensively.
They strung that out real well. And then Kuiper just come up, and he got some help from Capero and knocks him down about the 15. That's a loss of 2. Make it 3rd and 12.
The Eisenhower Knights looking to keep the Cardinals penned in here and looking for that field position. A timeout down on the field called by the coaching staff of the Cardinals, and we will take a break as head coach Dick DeAngie calls the timeout. 5:05 to go. We'll be back after this.
Cafero's Custom Butchering. Meat cut to your order. A proud sponsor of Eisenhower Night Football on WLMI.
All right, back here in downtown Corey, the frozen tundra. I guess you could say that field's really slick, and the footing hasn't been too bad.
No.
But hands got to get cold on a night like tonight. A lot of the Cochranton kids in the backfield wearing gloves.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't see Steve Whitty wearing gloves.
No, well, he was defensively, and a matter of fact, he just threw him off right before that time.
He's a real man.
A light frosting of snow. Listen, the guy next to me, folks, Morgan has his deer hunting outfit on. On 3rd down, it's a pitch back to the... Whoa!
Whitty!
Big loss!
Big tackle inside the 5, back to the 2.5.
Some trickery there by the Cardinals. Backfires. Bruno ends up all the way back at the 2-yard line. And it is going to be 4th down, and the Cards are going to be punting from their end zone and deep in the back of that end zone.
You got to believe that.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
Eisenhower knew exactly where that one was going. And there was a little bit of hesitation on Cochranton's part, and Whitty just buried Bruno back at the 2.
You. Conrad has his defensive backs doing the old zigzag on the Cardinals right now from the back of the end zone. The punt will be a high one that Whitty is going to field at the 35. Whitty now looks to cut in, and he'll get the football up to the 26-yard line. And so the Eisenhower Knights are going to end up in very good field position. Conrad sent Whitty on that defensive play, and it worked. And right now, Barry, it's the defensive backs of Eisenhower that are holding the Cardinals in check.
Yeah, it sure was. That was a 34-yard punt. Cochranton with 2 on the night, 1 for 36. Another one for 32, so they're averaging 34 yards a punt. Eisenhower will put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 28.
And on 1st down, Capero, the quarterback, it's a pitch to Whitty. Running right, looks to cut in now, and he'll be hauled down by a batch of Cardinals and leading the attack for the Cards. Number 65, that is Chris Cummings. and Cummings was right there. So I think Cochranton comes back with their own big defensive play. And right now, you got to be impressed with the banging around out there on the field.
Boy, I'll tell you, there's tons of it, and the old adrenaline's really got to be flowing.
And so it's a 2nd down and 13 now, and Mark Whitty wide left, Steve Whitty wide right now. A new look for the Knights. Diaper and black in the backfield.
That's nice because they're getting Steve 1-and-1 over there.
And Cafaro now will run left. And Cafaro will get it up to about the 25-yard line. And the tackle made over there for the Cardinals by Don Harvey again, and Bernarding also in the area. I think right now Cafaro's going to be the key offensively for the Knights running that offense. And don't be surprised when he doesn't pull up and throw that, and you have a Steve Whitty wide open somewhere. He's hit Whitty for 2 touchdowns this season, has Cafaro. Cafaro came on strong in the past 3 weeks. He scored 3 touchdowns in their win over Johnsonburg.
2:37 to go here in the first quarter. Still no score.
3rd and 8. Alexander came in motion. There he goes over to Steve Whitty, wide open.
Wow.
And he drops the football. But that is the play he had because he had a one-on-one with Drazina over there, and it will bring up a 4th down. So the Knights are 0 of 2 on 3rd down, as are the Cardinals. Now, Whitty is a field goal kicker, too. This might be a bit out of the range. You'd be looking at a 45-yarder, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah,
so
you gotta like that last sequence, though, because he was wide open, and they're playing off him so far that should he catch the ball, they're giving him 5-6 yards.
Steve now wide left, Mark wide right. Mark comes in motion. Silvas the center, snaps it. Cafaro back to pass, going for. It's going to be nearly intercepted. It is intercepted. He was intending that pass over for Jason Hagg, the tight end, and Bernarding comes up with the interception down at the 16-yard line. So the Cardinals will take over on that 4th down play. And really, it actually might have cost them, although a yard here and there. But I thought the pass was overshot a little bit, but Bernarding did go for it, makes the interception. Hagg wasn't really open on the play.
But really, that's as good as anything because it still has them in a hole here.
Yep.
1st and 10 from their own 15.
And now with the football coming out of there, Krantz picking up close to the 1st down is Kevin Krantz. And that's a big boost for the Cardinals here, as that is going to be a 1st down up to the 26-yard line.
27-yard line stop is made by Whitty.
Steve Whitty hit on the play again. 1:51 to go here in this opening period. First down of the game for the Cardinals. Bernarding wide left. Also over there wide left is Kevin Camp. Drazina, the quarterback, and they go to Bruno, who has running room, and another 1st down up to the 41-yard line. Mark Whitty has to make the stop. And the Eisenhower Knights, as Chris Black kind of upset with himself on that defensive play, coming off the field for the Knights is Tom Brown.
2 big plays here by Krantz, 1 for 12, 1 for 15. 1:20 to go here in the first quarter. Still no score in this District 10 semifinal game from Corey.
And it's a 1st down now for the Cochranton Cardinals. And Drazina will go to Bruno, and Bruno will dive forward, maybe a yard in there. And not much more. And let's credit for the Eisenhower Knights, Joe Gloss with the initial hit, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 9 with 50 seconds to go. And into the ball game comes 3 Cardinals, including in that batch Michael Miller, who I think we'll see set up as a tight end. And that's what they will do. Drazina is the quarterback, Bruno in the backfield, along with Camp. And slipping is Camp, but he does get the pitch and breaks 1 tackle, sheds 1 tackle actually, and he will get the football up to about the 47-yard line. Coming off the bottom of things for the Knights is Brown. And that will do it, I believe, for the quarter. 6 seconds and the clock ticks. We have seen a scoreless first quarter here from Corey. It's cold, and there is no score. We played a quarter, and we will be back in 30 seconds with the second quarter of this ball game between the Eisenhower Knights and the Cochranton Cardinals. No score. And back here at Corey, no scores. We get set for the second period, and right now, Barry Morgan, the Cardinals have worked themselves out of a hole, and they're on the drive.
Yeah, they are. I'll tell you what, some real strong running by Kevin Carter. He picked up a total of 31 yards and 3 carries to get him out of the hole. So he is dangerous, too. I mean, he had a heck of a good year, too, but he doesn't get all the recognition with Bruno back there.
And so it is a 3rd down and 5 for the Cardinals. And the pitch is to, that is Scott Baker. And Baker, no gain on the play. In on the tackle for the Eisenhower Knights is Roy Silvis, and it will bring up a 4th down.
So that makes Cochranton 0 of 3 on 3rd down. So credit the Eisenhower defense. They played pretty well, but they did let Cochranton out of a hole. Now faced with a punting situation, I believe 4th and about 5. They're going to have to punt. Steve Whitty just so dangerous back there. He could go at any time. Capero, the short man, Whitty will back up to about his own 25.
Bruno will punt from the 35, the snap, and the kick. The left footer kicks it. And it's going to be handled by Steve Whitty at the 25 and slips a little bit on the slick turf. He'll get it up to the 30-yard line where the Knights will put it in play. 1st and 10 from there. No score. Certainly glad to have you with us this evening, and we certainly want to thank our fine sponsors, Capero's Custom Butchers, Ruland's Automotive, Grant Lumber, Midtown Motors, also the Eisenhower Football Boosters, a great batch there, Dr. Gary Smith, CW Hardware, the Jock Shop, and Betts Industries. 1st down now for the Knights from the 30-yard line. The ball just over the 30-yard line. And on 1st down, Capero keeps it, and Capero will get his way up to about the 34, 35-yard line on the keeper. Had to be impressed with Steve Whitty, Barry. Just short sleeves tonight.
Yeah. Capero having a good night. 4 carries and 19 yards. And he's got to continue to do that because can he run for a little bit? Sooner or later, you're going to spring Whitty wide. And when you do, that kid can run forever. 10-10 to go here in the second quarter. Still no score.
And they go now to Steve Whitty, who gets his way up to about the 37-yard line. A couple yards there. And, of course, the offensive line for the Eisenhower Knights is a mainstay, and they will pop you, and they certainly have to be considered when you think of Steve Whitty. Somebody opens up gaping holes for him. Roy Silva at the center. You got Tom Brown, Jake Stoddard, Joe Glotz, Eric Hagberg, tight end Jason Hag. Now you got a wide out, and over there it is Mark Whitty on 3rd down, and let's call it 4. The Knights 0 of 2 on 3rd down. Capero, the quarterback. And they will go to Whitty, who is not going to get the 1st down. He's going to be stopped at about the 39-yard line, and in on the tackle is Drazina, and also number 75 for the Cardinals, who is making his presence known tonight, that being Don Harvey, Barry, who's been around the football all evening.
Yeah, he sure has. Tell you what, Cochranton with some quality kids, and they play in a tough league in that French Creek Valley League. 2 of their teams in the District 10 playoffs. The other one with a very unenviable task, that being Linesville playing Iroquois.
And Capero will kick. Whitty now, Steve, in motion on the punt. And the snap, and Capero's kick. It's going to be fielded back there by Marzino, who fumbles it, and it's still loose.
It looks like Whitty got it. It looks like Steve Whitty on the ball.
Nope, it's Cochranton's ball. Well, Drazina ends up on there, and he's shaken up a little bit. Drazina fielded the punt, fumbled it, dove, the ball come out of there again. It's not Drazina, by the way, that's down right now. I think it is Bernarding who is down. And so Cochranton will get the break, if you want to call it that, as they're able to hang on to the football up at about the 38-yard line, their own 38. Also around the football there for the Knights, as on that slippery snow, the ball slipping and sliding. Looked like Sean Silvis was down there and made a pop, and the ball did roll around, and I think it was Bernarding who's down, but I'm really not quite sure of that, but I'll tell you.
See, that's the nice thing about putting Woody in motion, too, is that he gets a head start to turn up the field and go. He's not going from a standing start. He's going in motion, and that gets him up the field quicker. You know, it's very fortunate that Cochranton got the ball back. That almost turned into the first big turnover of the game.
And let's take a 30-second break and come back here with an injured Cardinal down on the field. 8:38 to go in a half. No score. We'll be back after this. And back here at Corey, I think one of the other concerns when you have this, not only for the boy that's down right now, but you see both teams back in their huddle kind of jumping around trying to keep warm, Barry.
Yeah, and that's got to be a concern for both the coaches. Also, you know, Cochranton defensively, a pretty good defensive team. They come in averaging, giving up about 150 yards in offense a game, and only twice this year have they given up more than 200. So, you know, that Miller kid and Harvey and Baker, those kids are good athletes. Their quarterback, Paul Drazina, on the year he was 17 of 39 for 271 yards. So you can see they're not really a pass-oriented team.
Yeah.
So for Eisenhower, the defensive key should be try to get them third and long and make them put the ball up and make them make a mistake. They've had a chance a couple times here to do that, but it just didn't go their way, and they ended up with real good offensive possession down around the 26 to start with and couldn't get in. So you have to give Cochranton's defense a lot of credit because they were in a heck of a hole, especially when you're thinking about a kid like Steve Woody stopping him. They have done that rather well tonight, but the Knights also have done a whale of a job on Kevin Bruno, too.
And still down is an injured Cardinal. And, well, or over on the sideline, and it was an up back on the kick that went back, actually made the fumble recovery, I do believe, and what a price to pay. You can only hope that all is well there, as they now have him on the stretcher, and they will be taking him to the nearest facility that handles that there. That's always a tough thing, always a little bit spooky to see.
Yep.
Here with 8:38 to go in the half and no score, and the Cardinals Barry set up shop first and 10 from actually, let's call it the 38-yard line.
Right. And Eisenhower was the only turnover in the game, not being an interception. Ball thrown from Sparrow to Jason Hagg. That ball was picked off down around the 15-yard line. It came on a fourth down play, so actually not as much harm as had it happened, you know, somewhere else. But it's first and 10 here, 8:30 to go before the half, and still no score.
And they go now to a fumble, and the Knights got it. On first down, the Knights got it. And with the football for the Eisenhower Knights, it is Joe Glotz.
Yep.
Joe Glotz comes up with the football on first down, and now we're even on turnovers. Well, I'll tell you, you can almost sense it when you're down the field like that, and you've been out of the ball game, and you're cold, and you've been standing around for about 8, 9, 10 minutes, and a fumble, and Glotz comes up with it.
Why was the clock running? I don't know. Never mind. Eisenhower first and 10 from the Cochranton 36.
Whitty running right. And Whitty will get his way down to about the 33-yard line. And again, in on the tackle for the Cardinals is Don Harvey. And it'll bring up now a second down and 7, a long 7 for the Eisenhower Knights. Clock running 7:43 to go. No score. And so the Knights looking to get some momentum in this game and jump out in front. No score. And it is second and a long 7. In motion is Black now. And now they go inside to reverse to Kiefer, who was tripped up. Actually, an inside handoff as they sent Black in motion. And Whitty as if to pitch it to him. And the inside handoff went to Kiefer, who was tripped up. And Gary picked up, maybe a yard. It's going to bring up 3rd and a long 6 now. And so neither team has converted a 3rd down conversion in this ball game this evening. The Knights are 0 of 3. Well, they're 0 of 2. This is their 3rd crack at 3rd down. And Black again in motion. And Cafaro over the middle to Kuiper. First down around the 15-yard line. Beautiful play. Nice ball. On 3rd down, Kuiper was wide open. And it was Drazina who made the stop, but it's the first down for the Knights at the 15-yard line.
And what a big play. You know, even all the games we've done of Eisenhower this year, we hadn't seen that play. But I'll tell you, that was wide open. And just a beautiful catch by Kuiper and a run down to the 15.
6:34 and counting. First down at the 17. And they will go to Whitty running to his right. Whitty will now get it down inside the 10. And he's down around where?
About the 12, I believe, Bob.
Yeah, okay. It was out in front there. For the Knights, out in front of Whitty was the tight end, Jason Hagg. And it was Hagg who ended up down around the 8-yard line. 2nd down and 7 for the Knights. The winner goes on to play the winner of the Iroquois-Linesville game. Alexander wide left now for Eisenhower. Full house backfield. And they're going to go to Whitty again. And Whitty now will get it down to about the 8-yard line. And in on the tackle for the Cardinals is the linebacker, Jason Miller. He's going to bring up a 3rd down now and 3, a long 3 for the Knights. Now, you are in Whitty's field goal range, the one thing here. Of course, Conrad would like to get the 6, but a score of some sort off the turnover, you always...
Yeah, and a good team will make you pay when you have a turnover, too.
On 3rd down, Cafaro will look to keep it, and Cafaro is going to be real close to the first down.
If he's down to the 6, he should have the first down.
Dave Miller in on the tackle. Now, Miller's the guy that they were described as a terror, and right now the Knights have been able to neutralize Miller. I know Conrad said they were going to change some of their blocking schemes, or have changed some of their blocking schemes this week, and right now they have been neutralizing him. But when you do that, you're allowing Harvey to probably get him more defensively as they make the measurement. Call it.
Well, I think he got it. Depending, because from where the yard marker was over there, he's got to have it.
And you're correct.
Am I?
Am I?
We'll see.
Oh, it's about the gum wrapper
a whisker.
shot.
Well, if I'm only one whisker off at 45 yards, just imagine no deer's going to have a chance.
Kitty's, well, you got your suit on. A kitty's whisper away. A whisker away.
Man.
And it's 4th and 1, and now you're going to, I would imagine, go for this here. Conrad, last year, of course, opted for the touchdown at one time inside the 1, but he's going to go for it. A smart move here as the Knights looking to punch this in. Get the first down, and he has it, does Cafaro.
He's clearing down in about the 2-yard line.
So Robbie Cafaro, past Roy Silva's on the butt, his big center, does the job like a bulldog out in front of him. Trotting along that head down. Or like a Rottweiler. First down and goal for the Knights. 4:37 to go. The football inside the, let's call it the 2-yard line. First and goal from there. Mark Whitty way over towards the left sideline. And they go now to touchdown, Steve Whitty. Take it in as we blow off the microphone.
Love to do that. It
seems like every time that kid does something, you have a tendency to blow out the microphone.
Well, he jumped over the pile. The kid was airborne, like 4 feet off the ground. That's worth a scream.
Oh, yeah, that's worth a blowout. As Whitty now on for the extra point. Kuiper in motion, as they always do. High snap, Cafaro gets it down. The kick is no good. Wide left, a flag comes in. We might have a roughing over here as Steve Whitty ended up on the ground, and we may have a rough in the kicker here.
I'll tell you, that's a tough spot to be in.
It
is, and that call made by Joe Christina from City Huge, who's probably the Dina area referee. Guy's been doing it forever, but he just does a great job.
Whitty went wide left, but Cochranton did a good job. It was a high snap. He did get it down, but they're going to move it up and get another crack here. And now we'll see what Conrad opts to do as it goes up a yard. And the Knights are going to again have Capero holding for Whitty as Steve will get another crack at it. This could prove to be a big, big play on the roughing. In motion is Kiefer again. The snap. A fake. Kiefer looks and he has Hag wide open. 4-2. And I'll tell you, that's what they do. They'll throw that motion at you. People say, why? Well, right there. As Capero hits Hag, and it's 8-0. And the roughing the kicker right now is a big, big play, Mr. Morgan.
That and the fact that I think they took Hag for granted coming in here. Because I thought coming into the game that kid was capable of making a play somewhere along the line that could really hurt Cochranton if you overlook him. That hurt him right there. Yeah, of course, the roughing penalty hurt, but he had to catch the ball. And as cold as it is, that's a heck of a play by the kid. That might be one of the biggest plays of this semifinal game.
And I think, on the defensive end of things, too, a lot of confusion there with Kiefer because Kiefer did the exact thing he did on that third down big play as he took off and plunged through the line towards the middle of the end zone, and I saw 2-3 defenders around him, and Hag was wide open. And sometimes it can be tough to catch you at football when you're wide open like that.
Yeah, that's the worst. Most kids hate to be wide open.
4:24 to go. It's 8-0. Whitty's kick now is going to be a high, deep one. Drazina will handle it back at the 6. Upfield he goes, and he has some running room.
Mark Whitty and Steve Whitty hanging on.
Will bring it all the way up to the 41-yard line. He brought 3 Knights with him. And it was Jason Rhodes who had to jump in there and eventually bring him down. Drazina, big carry there.
36-yard run, and the ball was over his head. But Eisenhower could have had him in a hole had they tackled him back there. He fought through and on sheer determination got it out to his own 42. Cochranton 1st and 10, 4:02 to go before the half. The Eisenhower Knights leading 8-0.
On your choice for sports, WLMI, the Tundra in Corey tonight. Drazina on first down now. He will give it to Bruno. Bruno has some running room, but Steve Whitty quickly over there, and Whitty gets some help from one of his fellow defensive backs, that being brother Scott Whitty, who came over and helped Steve on the play. And I'll tell you, Steve Whitty quickly came up as Bruno had some running room over there, and Whitty came up and held him for a gain of about 3 yards. Let's give him 4, and it'll bring up a 2nd down and 6. And the Knights now, I have to believe that was Bernarding because we have not seen him back into the ball game. They're going to go with 2 guys wide left now. Baker, one of them. Baker and Mike Miller. And
boy, I'll tell you, that was a monster hit.
Capero just laid back Mr. Kevin Cant. I almost put him in La-La Land as I was just taken in La-La Land by the scream of Mr. Morgan.
Knocked him back 5 yards, and I mean, it was a definite 5 yards.
That's a highlight filmmaker there. That was a blast.
Yeah,
Eddie, you're right back there.
Illegal procedure against the Cardinals.
They'll late cross the penalty.
Eisenhower really pumped up. I mean, you can see it. You can feel it. It's even getting warm in here.
That'll take it back to the 41-yard line. That big thud you hear, folks, is when we overmodulate.
That's not my gut hitting the speaker or anything.
3rd down now. The Cochranton Cardinals are 0-3 on 3rd down tonight. 3rd and 11 for them. Close to an offside. They get back. And Drazina looking. Here they come. He's going to be sacked. Wow. Chris Black back there, and Watts made it happen with the initial grab. Watts had him, and Black finished him off. It's a sack back to the 34-yard line. They'll mark it to 35. And so the Knights right now playing inspirational defense with that 8-0 lead. And so the Cochranton Cardinals will punt it.
I think they woke up the monster. That's all you can say.
Boy.
You can feel it out there. And this is the perfect time for Whitty to bust one.
Yep.
Believe it or not, because the pressure's on Cochranton. And one mistake here, and they're going to be down 14-0 before they can play.
Whitty like a jack-in-the-box ready to hop out of there as they wind the deal. Here comes the punt from Bruno. It's going to drive Whitty back to the 30. Drops it, picks it up. Now he goes off with it up to about the 37-yard line where the Knights will put it in play. First and 10. We'll see what Conrad chooses to do here with the 8-0 lead. At the half, we're going to be talking with the head coach of the Johnsonburg Rams, Kevin Carter, a good friend of Conrad Danielson. Kevin will come up and join us at the half as he did last week in that AML game. Always good to hear his comments. I mean, he's been pretty good with it, too. He's pretty much told us what has been going to happen in the game that we've done.
Him and Conrad are good friends, too, so just wait till you hear it.
1:10 to go in the first half. 8-0 Eisenhower. We're going to take a break, let you hear one of our fine sponsors, and we'll be back at Corey High School with the Knights out in front, 8-zip. Back here at Corey High School, it was Bernarding that they did take off the field, and we understand it was a shoulder separation. So I'm glad to be able to pass that on to you. 1:10 to go here. The Knights with the football, and Eddie informs us we just about blew the whole power away.
Too bad, but I'm asking you right now, you think Conrad will go for a touchdown? I do.
All right, in motion is Alexander. Ball at the 37, back to pass Cafaro. Steve Whitty, touchdown!
Wow! I told you, didn't I? I told you. A good team will go for the juggler every chance they get.
Steve Whitty goes 63 yards. Morgan grinning.
I called that, didn't I?
He had Whitty one-on-one with one of the D-backs of the Cardinals, and it was just a beautiful pass by Cafaro. And the Knights lead at 14-0. My.
And I'll tell you what, Robbie laid that ball out there. Whitty ran under it, but that's the nice thing about splitting Whitty wide like that against that 5-2 is you're going to they have to pick him up man-to-man. There's nobody around that can do it.
And Whitty scores his 13th point of this ball game. And Conrad Danielson will go out there and hug his quarterback and his running back, and the Knights lead it 15-0 in this semifinal game. The genius to my right says, you think he'll go for the touchdown?
You knew he would. He had to, because you can never... Didn't he say last week before the AML game, don't ever hold anything back?
That's right.
Go for it. That's just up to his character.
Yep.
I mean, that was no surprise to me at all. But it was a super play by Whitty and Cafaro. There's no doubt about that.
Hey, when you get, and that's the whole thing, is he sets up those plays. He's had Whitty just about everywhere on that field right now, and that time he had him split. Was he split wide right, or did he come out? Yeah, he was.
Split wide right to start with, and they elected to cover man-to-man, and I'm telling you what, that's a job for more than a boy to handle.
1:02 to go. It'll be a boot on the ground, and Drazina again will handle it at the 20. And he has the seam again. And right now, Drazina's kick returns have been the gist of their offense. And so, it'll bring up a first down and 10 for the Cardinals with 55 seconds to go. And the football will be positioned at their own 40. And I think the Cardinals have to be in a bit of shock. When did the first touchdown come there, Barry?
The first touchdown came with 4:24 to go in the second quarter.
All right. So they hold them for 3 downs, get the punt. Cochranton 0 of 4 on third down. Knights 0 of 3, but they did convert a fourth down play, and again, right in the face.
How do you do?
Is Chris Black, who yanks him down rather aggressively, but beautifully.
That's illegal.
That's right. 22 seconds to go. And right now, the Knights are winning the physical battle down on the football field, and I think Cochranton has to be a bit gun-shy with 13 seconds to go, and I really don't think we'll see another play.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're in a hole here to start the second half. They got to come out and throw the ball.
Yep. And the Knights will be on offense to start the half. And they are going to go into the locker room, are the Cardinals and the Knights, with the Eisenhower Knights up by a score of 15-0, and they have to be feeling good about things right now as they just dominate the final 5 minutes of this half. Conrad with the super call there on first down, and they go big upstairs and lead 15-0. We're going to take a 2.5-minute break. Let you hear from some of our fine sponsors, also about a program or so that we'll be having for you tomorrow. And then at the half here, we are going to be talking with the head coach of the Johnsonburg Rams, Kevin Carter. So at the half, it's 15-0, and we will be back after this. You're Conrad, and you're going to come out with the ball to start the second half. What do you look for? What's your scouting outlook on the Knights as they take over in the first or in the second half as they take over the ball?
Well, they definitely have to be pumped up at this particular time, and when they come out in the second half, they have to control the line of scrimmage, and they can't start to get conservative. They have to play aggressive football in the second half offensively. They have to attack the line of scrimmage. They have to drive those people off the line. Eisenhower isn't really running the football that well, and so for them to take control of this game in the second half, I look to see coming to Jason Haig. I'm telling you, I've watched him the entire first half. He's open. He finally did use him on that two-point conversion. Excellent call down there. He was wide open. Nobody was around him within 15 yards. But I think Jason Haig in the second half, he catches a couple key passes. That'll be the key of the game.
All right, it's 15-0. Eisenhower Knights out in front. Before you take off, give me some thoughts on last week's Allegheny Mountain League Championship game. Joe Schlim and the Al County Christian Crusaders pretty much dominated things in that game.
Congratulations goes out to Joe Schlim and his staff and his players. They did an exceptional job playing Smethport, and I think Smethport was a little bit down. You didn't see a Smethport team out there that you actually saw all year long. You had the turnovers, and that hurt them. But on the same token, it's Christian's first AML contest. They were a little bit antsy in the first half with all those penalties. They come out in the second half and they control the second half. I thought they did a really good, super job. It's just a shame, this week's Open, we should have 2 District 9 semifinal games at this particular point. I mean, you have Christian, you have conceivably us, Clarion Limestone, Clarion, we could be playing.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, that has to be a bit of a disappointment for the whole AML league. I mean, you have one representative, but basically I think you should have 2 in there, maybe even 3 at this point. If you could make a change in District 9, how would you set up a playoff like that if it was up to you, or if they asked your opinion on that?
Well, I think that we have this down week. You have Smethport, who's going to be sitting out this entire week, and they go into next week's contest against Clarion Limestone. But this is a week where they could have their semifinal game, and you could have 4 representatives out of the District 9 down there, and not even split the Little 12 in the Allegheny Mountain League. You just take the 4 best teams and you put them out there on the field, and then you come up with your champion, and then you continue on to play District 10.
And what I've heard from people, which could be a real catch-22 next year for the Allegheny Mountain League, is the fact that District 10 is going to, I believe, start their playoffs a week earlier, which could, if Eisenhower was to win their division, maybe Sheffield or Youngsville, that would put the league in a tough spot because you would have to probably opt for the district playoffs and forego the Allegheny Mountain League, which would be really a tough blow to the league, I think.
Well, it's a shame that you have formed this Allegheny Mountain League and possibly just banning that playoff game 2 off for the District 9 game. But on the same token, people should have foresaw that and should have made arrangements to make sure that none of this ever happens. And if it happens next year, it's definitely going to hurt everybody involved.
Season too long, too short, or should you play 8 games maybe instead of 9?
Well, I think the 9-game schedule is a real good schedule, and playing in one independent. My concern is the point system, just like everybody else is concerned. And you know, is it fair? Is it unfair? You know, depending upon who's on your schedule and whatever. But I think that the full District 9 needs a restructure for the playoff format.
All right. I know you always give us an open answer. Again, second half, what do you look for here with the Knights out in front 15-zip?
I see Eisenhower controlling the offensive line of scrimmage, and defensively they are. You know, looking at Cochranton's defense, they're playing a little bit tight with those linebackers, and their secondary is very tight also. And like I say, Jason Hagg's the key to me in the second half. I'd like to see him catch a couple balls because he is wide open, and he could turn this game around even more so for the Eisenhower Knights.
What do you think of Morgan's outfit here tonight?
Hey, at least he's warm. I'll tell you what. I wish I had that outfit on right now.
Well, as always, a pleasure talking to you, Kevin. Hopefully we'll be running into you next week, maybe twice next week if the Knights end up playing on a Friday night, if they can get by this one. And, of course, we have the District 9 game on Saturday. Always enjoy your company up here.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's nice to see people following the team's postseason play, and I think more people should. And Eisenhower does have a nice representation of a crowd here tonight. And I see Sheffield here, and Johnsonburg's here, Smethport's here, and you have to support the teams in the Allegheny Mountain League, and I think the only way to do it is come here and actually support them instead of sitting home and not being concerned with it.
Smethport also getting the scouting report on Eisenhower because they could foreseeably see them down the road in the District 9, District 10 showdown.
Yes, they could. You have to be prepared at any given time. I don't think you're going to see a whole heck of a lot tonight. Eisenhower's still running their base offense and their base defense, but at least they're here to find out if there is anything new or exciting for putting in.
Always exciting to talk to you, Kevin Carter, head coach of the Johnsonburg Rams. Thanks for stopping up.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Kevin Carter, the head coach of the Johnsonburg Rams. We're going to let Barry get on the halftime act here, run down our stats as I slurp down some hot chocolate. We're going to take a 2.5-minute break, Eddie, and then we're going to come back with, he's got the abacus out. We're going to give you the stats, and we'll be back after this break. The Eisenhower Knights out in front of the Cochranton Cardinals by a score of 15-zip. We'll be back after this. And back here. Back here at Corey High School, the Eisenhower Knights out in front of the Cochranton Cardinals, 15-zip. I've pretty much gabbed the whole halftime here. Let's turn it over to the man in the orange hunting suit.
Boy, it
Mr.
feels
Barry
good.
Morgan.
It does. It feels like the first day of deer season out here. But at the half, the score Eisenhower 15, Cochranton nothing. First of all, for the Cochranton Cardinals, they come in at 7-2. For them, Kevin Bruno on the ground was held to 5 yards on 7 carries. Now, that's a super job by a great defense because he had over 1,000 yards coming in. Rosano with 2 carries for -10. Kant has been the main gist of their whole offense this evening. 5 carries, 26 yards. So as a net, Cochranton has 21 rushing yards in the first half on 14 carries. No matter how you figure that out, that comes to 1.5 yards a crack. And the way Eisenhower's playing now, those kids are pumped. They can smell it. Completely different team, I think, than last year. Last year, a little bit unsure. This year, they know why they're here, and they're really getting the job done. Cochranton has not attempted a pass, so they have a net of 21 yards in the first half. They have 2 first downs. They didn't get a first down until 1:42 to go in the first quarter. Then Kant's picked up their only 2 first downs, the first on a 12-yard run, the second on a 15-yard run. Cochranton 0-4 on 3rd down. So once again, the Eisenhower defense really exerting themselves. Glott, Cafaro, and Whitty just super defensively here in the first half. For Eisenhower, they've run a total of 23 offensive plays. Steve Whitty with 9 carries for 17 yards. Chris Black with 1 for 1 yard. Kuiper with 1 carry for 1 yard. Rob Cafaro with 4 for 19. That gives Eisenhower a total of 38 rushing yards on 15 carries. Through the air, Cafaro 2 for 4 with 1 interception for 85 yards. and one of them, the one that blew out the amplifiers back at Studio B. Just an electrifying. I mean, you could see it coming. Conrad goes for it, and Capero lays it out there. Whitty runs under it, and that's about all you can say. The kid's amazing. He might not get 100 yards tonight on the ground, but that one play could fill somebody else's scrapbook. Just a super play. So Eisenhower with 123 net yards in the first half. They have a total of 3 first downs. They haven't been penalized yet. They haven't had to fumble the ball. They've only had 1 interception against them. Third down conversions, they're 1 for 5 here in the first half. So I'm sure that's not what Conrad would like, but Eisenhower making the most of a big play situation. Once they cause a turnover on a fumble, and then boom, take it in. That's a trademark of a good team. That's what they do to you.
Can we throw another halftime guest in here while he's behind us?
Sure.
Mr. McGuire from the Smethport coaching staff, Jim McGuire, with us. And Jim, if you slip that headset on, maybe you can, the folks listening back over in your area, give me your thoughts on this first half of football here.
It started out pretty slow. Both teams had a hard time getting on track, but after Eisenhower got moving the ball, I think they moved the ball really well the second quarter. Their offense seems to be in good shape right now.
Did you like the call there on first down going upstairs to Whitty?
Oh, excellent call. That's perfect timing.
Now, you guys could maybe foresee Eisenhower or Cochranton down the road when District 9 meets District 10. So you're kind of here watching this with a dual purpose. I'm sure you're rooting for Eisenhower, but also you're checking them out a little bit. What are you seeing right now that you like or might concern you from your point of view?
That's really hard to answer this time. I've seen a lot of Eisenhower's definitely got a good football team. And Cochranton, they're playing pretty well themselves. That fumble hurt them. And I think that injured player, I think after that player got injured there in the second quarter, you can see the little momentum change right there. I think that definitely hurt them.
How was your guys this week after that tough game last week? It had to be tough for you to get back, but you do have that shot next week at District 9. I'm sure it was probably tough, but you guys do a super job keeping those kids motivated. And, not to put you on the spot, but it had to be a little tough, but I'm sure, are they getting back into the group now?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely, they were really down the first couple of days. When you win as many games as we did in a row in the Allegheny Mountain League and have your sights set in winning, the third Allegheny Mountain League championship, then to lose, and then lose the team we beat early in the year, take nothing away from Mel County. They're a good football team. They played a great game. But we hope, we rebound from that and get ourselves ready when we go down to Du Bois next week to play Clay and Limestone and bring home the District 9 championship.
All right, we're looking forward to being down there. Thanks for stopping by, Jim. I hate to put you on the spot, but you're always cordial to us. We figured we'd give you a chance to pay us back or what have you. Thank you much.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Barry Morgan, we're going to take a 1-minute break.
You didn't tell them, though, why we had them on.
No.
Carl wanted to make sure that those guys were here.
We're here at the game.
So he said, make sure one of them at least is on the air at half, so I know.
Okay, well, there you have it. We're going to be back in 1 minute with the second half with Eisenhower out in front 15-0. We'll be back after this. Both teams back out on the field, Mr. Barry Morgan. As always, it takes great sponsorship for these things. Let's run down them.
Ton of them. That's Industries and Warren. Always fine sponsors of high school athletics. They do so much for Warren County, and we want to thank them. Tommy Sano, all the people at the Jock Shop, of course, CW Hardware and Kane, Dr. Gary Smith, DPM. Got any foot or ankle problems, give them a call. The Eisenhower Football Boosters. Mr. Jim Hagg, I believe, president there. Midtown Motors. Steve Taraskin, all the gang there, just super people. Grant Lumber. Also, Ruins Automotive and Capero's Custom Butchering. They've been with us for a couple of years. And Joe, thanks. Your kid's really making a proud father tonight.
All right, we are set for the second half, and it will be Don Harvey kicking off. Back is Piper and Whitty. Let's turn the cowbell down. Don't want to blow out Eddie again We're set for the third period. The Knights will take over on offense. It's going to be a kick that's going to be picked up by Alexander at the 35, and Matt Alexander will take it up to the 46-yard line. So they did keep it away from Whitty, and they're elected to go up, but they certainly gave the Knights good field position at the 46-yard line, their own 46. So here we go, Barry, 1st and 10 for the Knights, and we're both firm believers in the juggler.
Yeah, and Eisenhower needs, if they can make something happen right now, they go down and score. Cochranton's in a big, big hole because they don't like to throw the ball. So look for a little more of Whitty this half on the ground.
And here we go on 1st down. Cafaro looking, and Cafaro gets heat. Cafaro goes down. He's sacked back at the 40. Nobody home. Harvey again on the tackle. And also for the Cochranton Cardinals, it's Chris Cummings in on the stop. So Harvey making his presence known as he did in the first half on the very first play. As he had Whitty, Mark Whitty, wide left, and he also had Hag headed down the field. It's going to bring up a 2nd down, and we are going to call it 2nd and 16 for the Knights. 2nd down, just underway here in the third period. Eisenhower leads it. Steve Whitty. Whitty will be brought down by Miller. He will get up to the 45-yard line. That was Dave Miller, who some of the coaches and other people described him as a defensive terror, who's been pretty much neutralized defensively, Barry.
Right. That brings up a 3rd and about 12 for the Knights, opening possession of the second half.
And we're going to have some movement, I think, on the Eisenhower side now. Close to some pushing, but the two fellows mellowed out. So we are going to have a flag on the Knights. I believe somebody popped the head up. Boy, you hate to see that if you're the Eisenhower coaches right now, if you're looking at a 3rd and, again, about 16 yards, 16, 17 yards of football back at the 40. That's their first penalty of the game.
Right, that hurts because I think they'd like to come out here and have a good possession, move the ball. If they don't score, take a lot of time off the clock. Don't help Cochranton out.
Last year was the Knights who were down at the half in the semifinal game, 14-0. Cafaro back to pass. Lets it fly. Kuiper dives. He made the catch. He made the catch. At the 36-yard line, a diving catch by Gary Kuiper. His 2nd catch of the ball game. 2nd catch for a 1st down to the 36. So that's a pickup of what, 24? 24. So Kuiper on 3rd down, and you talk about a big 3rd down conversion there. That is a big one. Kuiper, his 2nd reception. 24 yards from Cafaro. So Cafaro has to be over the 100-yard mark, I think, passing here with the big 63-yarder to Whitty for the 6th. And on 1st down, fumble! And it's still loose. Steve Whitty will get his own fumble. It squirts out again. And now it's just going to be a matter of separating that pile. As that ball slipped and slid and slipped and slid, and it's Cochranton's ball. So the Cardinals will take over on the turnover. That ball was fumbled 2-3 times, and Cochranton takes over at the 41. And I know Drozina was around the ball. He's a bit hobbled. And
we pick up the action with a little over 5 minutes to go in the game, and the Eisenhower Knights up 28-0.
Up a 3rd down. And there'll be a 3rd down. Let's call 3rd and 14. We got the pass from Denny. And I want to talk a little bit about something that he sent us last year.
Well, don't say it yet. I mean, we got to wait.
Oh, yeah, but all right.
That could be a classic.
All right, let's hang on to it. Pass is Cafaro. Lets it fly.
He's open.
Kuiper's open. And Kuiper is down to the 1.
Oh, man, you couldn't get much closer.
Kuiper down inside the 1. His 3rd reception of the evening.
About 3 snowflakes short of a touchdown.
And 5:12 remains in the ball game. And the Eisenhower Knights, folks, the Knights for the 2nd year are headed for the District 10 championship. It was a double overtime game last year, and I think that's just that's why it was nice going back and listening to those tapes and stuff. I mean, it really got me spirited up, and they go to Kiefer. They want him to score, and he does. Gary Kiefer scores. The third Knights across the end zone tonight. Gary Kiefer, and the Knights lead it 34-0. So on the night, Steve Whitty 3 touchdowns, Cafaro with a 6, and now Kiefer gets on the board. 4:52 remaining, 34-0. The Eisenhower Knights.
Boy, I'll tell you what, they're putting on a clinic out there tonight, and people from Iroquois, I'm sure that are here scouting, are gonna.
It's good.
They're gonna have to think about Eisenhower. It's not a guarantee.
All right, let's take a break for 30, Eduardo, and hear from one of our fine sponsors. Well, it should be interesting to get the comments of head coach Conrad Danielson of the Knights, and we might let someone else do some interviewing here. As the Cardinals now will field the kick, it'll be Baker. Baker down at the, let's get him up to the 30-yard line. Camp, not Baker, and it'll bring up a 1st and 10 for the Cardinals at the 30-yard line.
Stop was made by Cafaro.
And so they're going to mark it at the 28. And 4:38 and counting here at Glory Stadium in a press box that's being built up again. I'll tell you, it's going to be one fine facility here when this is all said and done. Some gracious hosts here this evening, Corey.
Yep, it's so nice when you go someplace to have people take care of you the way we got taken care of here.
Cant's now with the football running right, and Cant's still on his feet. He'll get it up for a first down across the 40-yard line. And Scott Whitty makes the tackle. 4-10, and they move to 6. But they were telling us that the press box, a lot of the work being done by the vocational students.
Yeah, and that's super. It sure is, because, it's expensive to do, but when you have kids that are learning to do that, and they can help you out, it would save the school district a lot of money, plus give those kids a lot of pride for having them accomplish a project like that. That's super. You'd like to see more of that all over the place.
Yep. Good for the district as well. 3:40 to go in the ball game. The Eisenhower Knights out in front 35-0. And Baker's going to let it fly, and it's intercepted.
Alexander down at the 35.
And so the Knights. Another turnover. And the Eisenhower Knights will take over with 3:28 to go in the ball game. And it looks like we're going to have a batch of substitutes in here. I think we're going to see Whitty at quarterback. Mark Whitty, I believe, will be our quarterback. Mirando will be in there. And yes, Mark Whitty will be the quarterback. Also in the backfield, David Lyon. And they are going to go to, I think Black stayed in, or, well, who was that with the football? That was Black, who remained in the ball game. Or was it Mirando? Mirando. 24, Mirando. We saw him, he was a senior, but we saw him get some playing time and some crucial playing time at times, and looked quite well.
Yeah, he looks real good.
You got a common feel for a guy like him playing behind some of the seniors for the Knights, but it makes you feel good when you see him out there.
Sure does.
And Mark Whitty will keep the football, and Whitty will be brought down. It'll bring up a third down and about 9 here. 2:25 remaining in the ball game, and I'm soon going to make my way down to, because it's going to be interesting to get down there.
Be careful going down the bleachers. Still a lot of snow on them, and you can very easily fall here.
Should we let this guy take over for me?
Sure. 3rd and 10 for Eisenhower at their own 36. Mark Whitty at quarterback.
And on 3rd down, they go inside to Mirando, and Mirando will get it up to the 39-yard line. Clock will continue to run. A nice side will punt. And I'm going to do that.
All right. Good man. So, Eisenhower looking at the clock running here. 1:33 and counting to go in the fourth quarter. They lead the Cochranton Cardinals by a score of 35-0. Just a super show by Steve Whitty here tonight. Eisenhower back now in punt formation. Robbie Cafaro back to punt. Steve Whitty goes in motion to the left. Whitty gets the kickoff. It's a deep kick. Going to roll, go all the way down inside the 10. Be down by Steve Whitty, down about the 9-yard line. So, what a kick by Robbie Cafaro. Give him 55-yard kick. 55-yard punt for Robbie Cafaro. That'll put the ball back inside the 10. 1:07 to go here in the fourth quarter. And Mr. Fresina out there gives the sign to get that clock rolling. So it looks like Eisenhower will go on to play the winner of tonight's Linesville-Iroquois battle. That time and date not known yet. Should be known maybe by Monday if we're lucky. Also next week for you we'll have the District 9 championship between Smethport Hubbard and Clarion Limestone. That game will be held at DuBois Mansell Stadium. Kickoff there at 7 o'clock. Delay a game against Cochranton. It'll move the ball clear back inside the 5 to the 4. We're down to 35 seconds to go here on a very chilly night here in Corey. Cochranton maybe has time for one more play here. And that should about do it. 28 seconds, they gain nothing on the play. Just a super evening for the Eisenhower Knights. A great defensive effort. They made all the big plays at the critical times. Credit Robbie Cafaro, Steve Whitty on offense. They made the whole thing roll. And we're inside 5 now. 4, 3, 2, 1. That'll do it. Final score, Eisenhower 35, Cochranton nothing. We'll be back in 3 minutes. And back here at Corey, the final score, Eisenhower 35, Cochranton nothing. For the Cochranton Cardinals, Kevin Bruno, with over 1,000 yards on the year, was held to 14 yards tonight on 12 carries. As a team, Cochranton with 51 yards on the ground. Drazino, 1 of 8 with 2 interceptions for 13 yards through the air. So that'll give them a total of 64 yards in offense. It's just a super effort by the Eisenhower Knights. For Eisenhower, Steve Whitty with 13 carries for 91 yards. He also scored 3 times, kicked 3 extra points. So a super night for Whitty. He also caught a pass for 67 yards for a touchdown. On the ground, Eisenhower with 138 yards rushing. Through the air, Robbie Cafaro, 4 of 9 for 143. That'll give Eisenhower a total of 281 yards on the game, Bob. And as I said before, they held Cochran to a net of 64 yards in offense all night long. And what a super effort, because the one play there towards the end picked up 13. Or otherwise, you're looking at 51 yards in total offense that Cochranton got all night here with that super-like defense.
And with us, we have the head coach of the Eisenhower Knights, headed for their second straight District 10 championship tilt. And Conrad, really, the last 5 minutes of the first half, you guys dominated, take the lead 15-0 at the half. We really loved that play that you went to Whitty. He says, watch us. He's going upstairs, boom, touchdown. Give me your thoughts on that final 5 minutes.
Well, I was real concerned on that particular play because I didn't know if we could hold those people out long enough to get the pass off. But on that particular play, we certainly did. We stood 78 up, and he stood right there, and he didn't move more than a yard, and Robbie just threw a perfect pass to a perfect receiver, you know. And it was a thing of beauty. You got to you got to wonder what, with that little time left in the half, what a secondary person's thinking about when you're able to do something like that. But, you know, it's happened to me, too, and you just get a bigger boot and bend the kid over, you know, and he learns, you know. It's tough.
I know the Miller kid from Cochranton, you guys were a little bit concerned about, number 78, but you pretty much neutralized him. They had a Harvey kid or whatever, he come in and made some plays, but you pretty much neutralized him with your offense tonight.
Well, we were double teaming him most of the time. That's one reason. And on the one side of our line, we got two kids who weigh 200 pounds, and neither one of them are that shabby. You know, if they can't hold him out of there, then we were in a lot of trouble. But we didn't click that good on our ground game. I thought we could option a little bit better. I think we could have taken advantage of our tight end quickies because coverage was real poor. Man, you just hate to take a chance when things are going right and the score's in your favor. And you know, it's tough. It's tough to do. The tight end quickie isn't as easy to pass as people think it is. All that linebacker has to do is drop 3 or 4 steps, and the safety's right there, and it's got to be put right down in between them, and that takes a hell of a touch to do something like that.
You know, we were talking. It was kind of a tough break for Robbie Cafaro last year, not being able to make the playoffs with the injury, and he did a super job for you tonight. And really, I know against Kevin he scored 3 touchdowns, and he's really come on well for you. And that's got to please you as you go into next week's big game.
Well, that athletic. He's one of these kids that has a tendency to get depressed and down, and when he does, it's tough to bring him out of it. So when something goes right off the bat, like it did tonight, then he's sky high the rest of the time. So, you know, I'm glad we were able to do what we were able to do, because their passing game hasn't been anywhere near what I'd like it to be, and I'd like to give your boys some more things to worry about. So it's real nice that we could rack up that kind of yardage and have the scores in the big league.
Conrad, at the beginning of the game, it looked like it was going to be a defensive struggle, and all of a sudden things just broke wide open for you. What were your thoughts, you know, at that particular point, knowing that, you know, both sides of the ball, everybody was hitting very hard? You know, what did you want to do to try to overcome that and open things up?
Going in, I thought we could run our option. We tried it a couple times and mixed it all close, screwing it up. We couldn't contain one-on-one 78 or the other tackle getting into our backfield before we get down the line and pitch the ball. And they were loaded outside, too. They were going to take the outside away from us, which is why we should have went with little quickies over the middle. But, yeah, I was real concerned there for a while because we had excellent field position. We had them backed up, and we weren't making nothing out of it. And we didn't get anything until we got a break on a fumble. We finally popped one into the end zone.
Talking about those little quick passes, at the halftime intermission, I was up here, and I noticed it was very wide open, and Hag was wide open a couple times there, and he tried to get the ball to him there one time. I'm curious why you didn't go to the outside with that.
Like a tight end out?
Right.
Well, that's tough. To me, it's tough. You make it look easy, but I have a hard time trying to throw that pass because it seems like you got to lead it perfectly right over the top unless you have a roll-off scheme, which you do. But we don't necessarily go with a roll-off scheme. Maybe we should, and you're probably right. But I just find it a very difficult pass to complete unless you got a pretty quick-footed tight end that's pretty tall and can catch a lot of balls like Kilo.
You guys went in on the axe, feel free, Mr. McCray.
I have one question, Conrad. These guys haven't talked that much about your defense. That's 5 shutouts in the last 6 games. You can't lose a game when you give up 0. Black, Hagberg, the middle of the line, were in their backfield before the quarterback could get rid of it. How do they do it?
Well, Blackie's awful quick boy. Hagberg's just a big, strong boy, and you're not going to push him around. He don't penetrate a whole lot, but he penetrates enough that people try to come into him and they can't take him down. What I was real happy about is we won in the game in a 6-3, and I wasn't real comfortable with that, but I put it in because I thought we had to have it to stop it. Unfortunately, the 4-5 come off real good. I was extremely pleased with the penetration, jamming power of our front 4. And then we just had 5 people that could clean up and attack, and I didn't think, of course, they're not a passing team anyway, and we just weren't worried about them beating us long and passing for that part of the game. We had to stop the ground game, and we certainly did.
Second trip to the District 10 championship, Conrad, of course, last year. I was listening to the tape of last year's game today. I put some of that into our intro, and, well, you get another shot at that next week. Back to the drawing board, probably will be Iroquois. Give me some thoughts on that, what you have to do to prepare for them.
Two totally different teams here. Number one, they're French Creek Valley League. You know, I don't want people to take this wrong, but you got a Class A school that's continually playing double and triple A schools and go undefeated. You know, you're talking schools Harbor Creek and Corey and good, solid football programs, Fairview and other ones. So obviously they're good. Anybody that can assume that they don't have something there is really stupid. You also could maybe assume that the whole Erie County League was weak. But I just don't buy that. I think obviously they got something going. Something pretty solid.
All right. Well, let's go to a caller now. No. Always a pleasure, Conrad, spending some time with you, and certainly a great contest, a great win for you tonight, and sheer joy watching you guys out on the field, and looking forward to following you the rest of the way. Do what you can to get this game on Friday so we can be sure to be there.
Okay. I really appreciate your coverage, and I know there's a lot of people around our area that can't wait for it to come on, and there's a lot of people that can't get here. They're going to tune in and hear us play. So just a tremendous job by you guys, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who agree with me.
Tremendous job for you guys, too. Thanks a lot, Conrad Danielson. And Barry Morgan, any final thoughts? As I think our host would like to see us leave, so we can...
Yeah, they probably would. So let's wind it up. Just a super victory by Eisenhower, 35-zip. They'll be playing again next week.
All right, we'll keep you posted. That was kind of neat running the press conference.
Those guys left about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, so that'll do it. For Barry Morgan, I'm Bob Parana. Let's run down our sponsors for you one more time. Happy folks at Cafero's Custom Butchering, Roland's Auto, Grant Lumber, Warren Midtown Motors, the Eisenhower Football Boosters, Dr. Gary Smith, CW Hardware, the Jock Shop, and Beth Industries. Thanks, it's because of you folks that we're able to do this, and we certainly do appreciate that, your sponsorship, and looking forward to doing what we can to continue the Eisenhower drive here for a District 10 championship. So for Barry and the rest of the gang that was up here, I'm Bob Parana. Have yourselves a wonderful Friday evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. So long, everybody.